one of the fortunate coincidences, or not such a coincidence, of the fact that this is 50 years here, is it also marks 50 years of Uma Prabhu in Ithaca at Cornell. And it's hard to underestimate Uma's role as a mentor to so many of us. That I actually, he may not know this, but I actually first heard him lecture at the National Bureau of Standards one summer when I was a summer intern. And, everyone talked to Prabhu, he's coming, and going to give lectures. And we all got off special time from doing our regular work so that we could go listen to them. Of course, it was an introduction to curing. What else could it be? This was my first encounter with him. But then, when I transitioned to Cornell, I really saw the full human being, Uma Prabhu, not just the scholar, the intellect, the teacher, but an Uma Prabhu who really so deeply and genuinely cared about everyone. The way he took graduate students under his wing, not just his graduate students, but a whole swath of graduate students at a time, and really checked up on how they were doing and really followed their every concern. It set a tone and a character for what kind of place Cornell ORIE was and is today. In no small part to his own actions. That Uma's special warmth and caring was really something that permeated the place. And this was true for me as a faculty member as well. He alone would sometimes pull me into his office and really tell me what you think. There was may have been a bit of a tense discussion at a faculty meeting, and he would really tell me, you said something. What did you really mean? What are you thinking? And explain yourself. And this was the kind of concern and openness that is really the very essence of Uma. And I think as we look at these 50 years, we would really be a very, very different place without his presence. So it's really an incredible special treat that he was willing to say a few words tonight. I think we all wish to have as long and productive a life as Uma has had, and to continue with the same vitality. And it's an honor for me to just be here today. So please, Uma, come share some wisdom with us.
When I got a notification concerning this 50th anniversary, I thought I was going to be just one of the people participating in that, just one of them. Because Cornell getting to this stage of prominence was not just due to my efforts, but by the joint effort of all the faculty. I mean this most honestly. Sometime back, I remember Bob Beckhofer was introducing the new faculty to the students. He introduced them one by one and so on. And then he said, last but not the least, we have Marcel Notes here. He forgot about me. But what did I do? I stood up and said, I am the least. So I am happy to be the least. Because Jesus Christ said, in as much as you have done it to the least of my brethren, you have done it unto me. But Jesus said, I'm not a Christian. So, to this day, I want to remain the least of your brethren, least of all of you. I have no sense of competition. I am just one of the players in this human drama. What's my background? I went to a Hindu high school, a Lutheran church, a Catholic college, Lutheran college run by Basel Mission in Basel in Switzerland, and these are it was called Basel German Mission, and the British at that time, with the World War I, were fighting against the Germans, and the British declared the principal as an enemy citizen. So he was arrested and put in charge of a Lutheran institution, the Basel Mission. Basel, German Evangelical Mission. German was misleading because they do speak German in Switzerland. 3 or 4 languages in Switzerland. French, German, and some there's a Flemish also, I think. Anyway, there was one of the missionaries, Gundert, wrote a dictionary in the local language. So we visited, my wife and I visited Switzerland, asked to see the dictionary. They took it out of the deep well and showed it to me. And so this is part of my background. I went to Loyola College. This is started by Jesuits, Society of Jesus, and started by Saint Ignatius Loyola. Then I had a beautiful education there, very good. One of my teachers was a French monk, Reverend Father Racine. And I admired him very much. He was a beautiful French accent and so on. I dedicated my first book, to him. And so on. So, all these, I'm born Hindu, but I absorbed all these cultures. Anyway, I came to Cornell because of the book I wrote. The referee of that book was Frank Spitzer here. He wrote, the publishers told me, I did not know who the referee was. The report was so good. I said, America believes in cutthroat competition. Nobody speaks a good word about the other. You know, that's what British told me, of course. And then I asked the publisher who it was, and then I found out it was Frank Spitzer. And then he wrote to me saying that I liked your book. I already recommended me to the industrial engineering department. That was how I got to the. I did not apply. So how lucky can you get? So then I had some excellent students. Frank Worthington to begin with. The other day, a few years back, when I was on my 90th birthday, he came. He was. He gave me a letter. In that letter, he told me his success and failure. He was executive in Bell Telephone Laboratories, but he lost his wife due to something or the other, and so on. And Hayakashi from Israel, she wrote to me, and she said, I am her Zaidi, in grandfather in Yiddish. Why is that? Because Michael Rubinovich was my first student. No, not first student, was my student. And then Hayakashi followed. Now, just imagine, I was in the director's office doing something or the other, and outside the office, it was giant post at that time, was this person waiting. And when I got out of the room, he followed me. He said, I am Michael Rubinovich, I want to work with you. How lucky can you get? And then followed Haya. Now Haya said, Michael was her teacher, and I was Michael's teacher. So I'm her Zaidi, Yiddish grandfather. So when I say I look at my students as my spiritual children, I'm justified. So that, as a matter of fact, we are the loco parentis. In Latin, local parents assigned to us to take care. We take tender, loving care. I had this experience with Henry Goldberg completing his PhD with me. And then he went home. His mother wrote to me and said, thank you for taking care of my son. I visualized a lonesome widow sitting there, her only son, Henry Goldberg. This is not exaggeration, this is a human experience. The role of teacher is an ancient one. Going back to Socrates, maybe, I don't know, but Jesus was a teacher. So, I had such a nice time with Haya and Michael Rubinovich. They treated me, well, the way their personalities were. They're making fun of me and so on. I said, well, these are the kids nowadays. So, what's behind all this? I grew up in British India. India was colony, and Palestine was a mandate to be taken care of. There was no Israel. I have to bring this out of me because people have prevented me from saying this. I read the Israelis were not, the Jews were not allowed to get into that area. So what they used to do, they came in boats, jumped overboard, swam across the sea, and east Palestine. Now, when I was saying this to somebody, he's not here. He was laughing at me. I forgot to tell him I was only 11 years old at that time. I was very sensitive to human suffering. Because I was myself born poor, I suffered. I know what suffering means. So, anyway, going back to my students, I had excellent students. And excellent colleagues at the Cornell's department and outside. Frank Spitzer, as I said, was responsible for getting me here. Jack Kiefer was a strong supporter of me. And so that was very good for my intellectual growth. The students at Cornell are coming from all over the world. My own students came from, as I said, Israel, then Portugal, Singapore, South Korea, and so on. So that's the status of Cornell. We are not claiming enough for ourselves. Among Ivy League schools, Cornell used to rank 7 or so. It's time to re-examine that. So, we can afford to be a little aggressive without being arrogant. So, going back to another topic, I had good luck. Carl Harris from Syracuse. Carl got me introduced to Informs. What is it called? Institute for Madman Science and so Informs. It's called. OR in MS Informs. So. And then I had Julian Kielsen from Rochester. He started organizing a conference on stochastic processes, and I went there. And then we got together and we started thinking about it. We started two things. We started a series of conferences on stochastic processes and application. I say we. It's not my effort alone. And we started a journal, SP, Stochastic Processes and Application. Julian was a man of ideas. I was just following him. Harvard product, but there was an element of sadness or something in his. I don't know whether his ancestors were involved with what is that Jewish persecution? Holocaust. I did not know. But his family and my family were friends. I went to his place and he came to my place. And his son was Julian and daughter was Julia and so on. Anyway, there was just a possibility that we might get him to Cornell. No, a little bit of ego in his personality. But here at Cornell, we are all equal. We all make our contributions to teaching, research, and so on. So, excuse my talking so frankly. This is a human drama we are describing. As humans, we have our weaknesses and strengths. So, anyway, these conferences and journal SPA are now taken over by international studies, which I think I told you already. I prepared a one-page statement. Ideally, after this nice dinner and so on, we should have switched on the TV and watched Saturday Night Live. But Dave asked me to do this, and who am I to say no to Dave? He's the boss. Let me this is not scientific but sort of social observation. So observations about what's happening in America, what was happening in America at that time. When I came to Cornell in 1965, Cornell was celebrating its 100th anniversary. Last year, that is 2015, Cornell celebrated its 150th anniversary. Now we are celebrating our school's 50th anniversary. Oh, hooray! Next one. During the 1960s, there was a social unrest in America with student riots at Berkeley campus that spread to other campuses, including Cornell. The main issue was the Vietnam War. So I can't see this. Is there any light here? No. Okay. All these subsided and America recovered its soul. We sang, "We shall overcome," and we did. The faculty hired in 1969 included Bill Lucas, Lou Billera, Dave Heath, and George Nemhauser, Ray Fulkerson was hired in 1971. The publication of his book jointly with Lester Ford was a milestone in OR. Unfortunately, Ray passed away in 1977, moved to Cornell Mathematics Department. Passed away in 1977. Lou moved to Cornell Mathematics Department, and George Nemhauser to Georgia Tech, or George to George. There's something about George Nemhauser I should tell you. He was very popular, and everybody liked him. After he left back to Georgia Tech, I saw him at the airport. I asked him, "George, you were a popular director. "Why did you leave?" He said, "Have you ever seen some bunch of people?" I said, "Cornell." "No, we are not. Cornell called some a bunch of people. We are human beings. We are accomplished scientists. We have our opinions, and we can work as a team. But that was a bit of disappointment, and it's not fair to us." Anyway, Bill Lucas moved to Claremont Graduate School and passed away there, and Dave Heath passed on. He was a genius. He had so many bright ideas. We never put down anything in writing. He had a game theory. When Sumi and myself were going to Nevada, he told me, "Don't ever gamble." Huh? Yeah, so I miss them very much. Then there was Stella DeFernus. She was from Greece. She was on the faculty from 1968 to 1971. Her husband, Constantine, Costas for short. She was very dear to me. Because she was Greek, she felt isolated from the rest of the faculty. Anyway, I think she moved to New York, and then soon after that she passed away. This was, I don't know how to describe this human experience. Anyway, her husband, Costas, I got this thing from American Mathematical Society publication, Notices of the American Society. Her husband, Costas, won this year, 2016, the Norbert Wiener Prize in Applied Mathematics. If only Stella was alive to see this, she would have felt very proud. So such is life. C'est la vie, like the French say. Let me end by reciting a poem. This is by Yehuda Amihal. I used to read his poems in the New Yorker. Now a book has appeared with all these poems. His portrait of life, Hebrew from the point of view of the Hebrew, agrees with my mental frame as a Hindu. This kind of merging, this is what America is great. It says here, that is the way to live. took your hand into the infinite beyond of the world, turn the inside out, turn the outside inside out, the world into a room, and God into a little soul inside the infinite beyond. Sumi says that this is consistent with what the Indian Vedas, that 4 Vedas, the sources of knowledge, so this is infinite beyond. So this is I have to say, thank you for giving me the opportunity for saying this. Again, I must say, I am one of the players. I'm glad to be. I've been to. Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we had a good meal and we had a nice time together, and let's switch on the TV and see Saturday Night Live.